Welcome back in on my truckers and truckettes. We're just going to talk about tires today. And you know what I think about the foursomes, which a lot of you run. And if you're looking into a foursome or looking into putting a lifter in your truck and a bigger tire and wheel, you know, this is absolutely the best tire and wheel setup, in my opinion, you could go to. So the 165/80 is 23 inches tall, 6 inches wide. They are 8-ply, and they have a load rating of 1,400 pounds. Abilities at 65 PSI max, cold. And boy, that's pretty impressive out of a tire like this. So you're not going to overload these tires. 1,400 pounds at each corner. I mean, come on. And this tire is not light. It's a pretty heavy tire. So being an 8-ply tire, steel belted radial, DOT approved, and you know, 65 PSI max on a 13-inch tire is pretty impressive in my book. And if you're loading your truck down wood, whatever, dirt, gravel, you're hauling some weight, this is the tire for it. It's, you know, ATV tires that we normally run are 23 inches tall and just shy of 8 inches wide. So if you need a little bit wider footprint and you want to spend a little bit more money, maybe the ATV tire is best for you. But sometimes a skinny tire will get you through things better than a wider tire. Sometimes a wider tire will get you through things better than a skinny tire. So it's really all depending on the terrain you're going to be on, how you're going to be driving it. But if you're going to be muddy fields, on and off the road, gravel roads, what have you, these tires right here are going to be probably the best ones for you. They have like a 95 mile per hour speed limit on these tires, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but I believe it's 95 miles an hour. So yeah, this is a very nice rough terrain tire. So obviously it's an MT tire. It's kind of a hybrid though. So in the center, you'll have smaller lugs that your truck normally will ride on depending on your air pressure. And you got the bigger lugs on the outside. And we've had them out. They do great. We've had them out in all different, from sand to mud holes to just soft ground in general, river banks. These tires are perfect in my opinion. Now, I will say that finding the right wheel is kind of difficult. So I do have some wheels sitting here. So these are the go-to wheel that I like. They are a 13-inch steel wheel, 4.5 inches wide. And I know they're just a hair smaller on the width than what the tire recommends, but I've used many of sets of these together, and I've never had an issue. They wear just fine, they bead just fine. You know, you're not going to have any problems out of them. At least I've never had any issue, and my customers have never had any issue with this tire and wheel setup. This wheel also has a 1,400 pound load rating, so you're matching the right load rating for the tire and the wheel together. It's a steel, it's a good looking wheel, let's be honest. We can put a nice chrome center cap on it, chrome lug nuts, give it just a little bit of flash if you want it to, or black it all out. It's all up to your preference, but gives it a nice little offset to where only part of this outer tread sticks out from the body line, and it just looks tough, classy and tough. So if you're looking for a better setup for your truck, you want to do a lift kit, maybe you can find the right wheel and offset of the wheel, and depending on the truck you might have, we'll just say like a Subaru, for instance, you can fit these with no lift at all. So it's just an option for you. And when I'm running these tires, on the pounds of pressure you know, the wind, they'll have anywhere from 28 to 30 pounds. Now, I do that just for the ride, because if you pump these up, they are rock solid. So if you're loading heavy and stuff, pump them up to 40 or 50 pounds, and you know, they'll salute at you, and they will do exactly what they're supposed to do and impress you at the same time. These tires, they dig really well. So if you're off-road in the woods, whatever, that traction there is pristine. They're not really that loud on pavement. You're looking at it, you're like, wow, that's a pretty aggressive tire, but they're loud. They're really not. If your alignment's out and they start wearing funny, you know, you have to keep in mind they are mud tires, so it is a good idea to rotate them about every oil change or every other oil change. And it really depends on how you're driving it, where you're driving it. But I've had extremely good luck out of these tires. I think this tire here is a used foursome. And this tire, I would say, had 10,000 kilometers on it, 8 or 10,000. And the alignment on that vehicle wasn't perfect, or it wasn't rotated. This is a tire that came off of one that I had purchased back a year or two ago, and it still had good tread, but I was like, well, we'll just freshen it up, give that vehicle brand new tires, even though this one still has good meat on it. I believe they had 10,000 kilometers on it, and they did do some road pavement driving, so they wear good for a mud terrain tire. If you keep them rotated, they're going to last you even longer. Keep that tread nice and smooth and even. So when I do a lift, I typically do 4-inch lifts on the trucks 99s and newer, and then I'll match it up with this wheel, that tire, and they perform awesome. We've had them off-road, soft, marshy areas, and they bite and you go type of thing. And I like how hard the tire is. Like, it's a heavy tire. Like I said, it's 8-ply, so it's going to hold the weight of the truck and any load that you put in it. And you're not going to be worried about puncturing this tire like you would an ATV tire that might be 4 or 6-ply. And with those ATV tires, of course, they're wider for a wider footprint. And in my opinion, that's the only benefit you get out of an ATV tire. This tire here is DOT rated. You know, speed rating I think is 90 miles an hour. So you're not going to have any issues out of your speed rating. They balance out well. They, I think, sometimes only half an ounce, depending on how the tire guy sets it onto the wheel. So yeah, it's the best tire for your midding truck, hands down. If they wear properly, if you have the truck in alignment, the alignment's good on the truck, and maybe you rotate them every other oil change or something like that, they wear really good. You'll get, we'll say 12,000 kilometers out of them. If you're driving on gravel roads with pavement here and there, on and off the road, you know, they're a great tire. They wear good, they last a long time, they hold the weight, and I can't say anything bad about them, other than they're in a 13-inch, which sometimes that 13-inch wheel is hard to find. So if they were in a 14 or maybe even a 12 with 23 inches tall, 6 inches wide, you know, we could do something like that a little easier with finding wheels. Just really encouraging you, if you want to buy tires for your mini truck after you lift it, or you know, maybe you have a certain truck that you don't even have to lift to put these on, I would go with these. They're great price. They're going to last a long time. You're going to be able to hold the weight if you're off-road, loading it down and stuff. And they look great as well. So I think that's really my opinion on that tire. And you know, I've used them for the last 2 to 3 years, and they've just been great, absolutely great for us. And if you can find the right wheel, which we have some on the website that I've put on, like Subarus and Daihatsus, that didn't have to have a lift, and stuff these tires up under them, no rubbing, no issues. This truck here is a U62 that these tires are sitting in the back of. To fit these tires, you would have to do at least a 2-inch lift, which we don't sell because 2-inch lifts don't work very well on these U62s. We just do the 4-inch lift on them, trim the bumper very slightly in the front, and you'll be just fine. No rubbing, no issues. So I guess come on in here, take you a little gander up close, and I'll show you the tire if you're looking at buying some of these, what you can expect to see when they show up to your doorstep. So I don't know what you're waiting on. I don't bite. Come on. So there's that awesome rough terrain tread. So it's kind of like a hybrid. So the center tread, it'll ride on like if you're on pavement, and then, you know, obviously you get your lugs on the outside. I usually pump these up to about 28 to 30 pounds, 35 pounds to 40 pounds if you're loading. Depends how heavy you can load. And that's another thing about these tires, is they're rated for 65 PSI max. So they will hold some wind. We'll get some information here. So these are made 4th week of 26. 165 ADR 13. Trying to find the load rating. Here we are. All right. Max load single 1,477 pounds. Right there on the print. Max 65 PSI cold. 8-ply. Load range D. Professional off-road assist. Tubeless, steel, belted, radial. Very nice. So you got the raised letters. You got the sidewall tread. Changed these slightly because they used to have raised letters and slim letters. Now we have raised letters on both sides. But yeah, very nice looking tire. Very great performing tire. And they don't break the bank. They're about a fraction of the price of a ATV tire. So ATV tires after shipping for me are running about $900, where, you know, these are way cheaper. They're $300 to $400 range for a set. But anyway, I'll get you a close up. That's the back side of this steel wheel. Here's your front side of it. Very nice, very nice. So that's going to include some of my thoughts on the 165/80 R13 foursome tire. I keep these tires on hand. Hopefully, you know, if I don't run out of them, I always keep some coming, you know what I mean? Because I'm always using them. And this truck right here, the guy is actually getting a set and putting them on himself, along with the lift kit and stuff when he gets it home. So, well, I reckon that's going to do it for this video. If you're looking for a mini truck tire, I would highly recommend just getting a 165/80 R13 foursome. And if you see the Accelera 165/80 R13 foursome, or Accelera 165/80 R13, they are just as good. So I'm pretty sure they're made from the same manufacturer, a little bit different tread pattern. They're not quite as aggressive. They still have the same load rating and everything. So I did buy a couple sets of those when these kind of disappeared and they redid the sidewalls. But these are back in business now. So I'm just saying, if you find the Acceleras, you like those, they're just as good as the foursome. And if you're looking for, you know, good tire to go with your lift and setup, here they are. And I'll stand behind that every day, all day, and I will continue buying these for as long as I can. So appreciate you all being here. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Throw us a comment what you think about these tires if you run them on your mini truck, and you know, kind of interact with us and give us your feedback as well, because it does matter to us. So we will, I guess, see you all in the next one. I got some stuff to get done, and I guess I'll get to it. Maybe get me a cold snack while I'm at it.